What's going on, guys? This is Devon Evans, and I'm here with the Band of Barbers podcast. Today is episode 8, I believe. I believe it's episode 8. Um, Try something a little different today. Didn't really have a whole lot planned for today, but what I am going to give you guys is we'll start with a story from behind the chair. Might have a couple stories, but we'll at least just start with one story. All right. So, um, you know, I'm in my, I think I was in my first year as a barber apprentice in the shop. And, um, you know, I can cut, I already kind of knew how to cut curly, kinky, wavy hair, black hair, I guess you can call it. Wasn't so great with straight hair, especially long straight hair or mid to long straight hair. Struggled with that a lot. Really struggled with it. And so anyways, it was a Saturday and I'm in the shop and the owner of the shop wasn't there that day. So it was me and two other barbers that worked in the shop, and I got the pleasure of being in the first chair. Now, I'm going to tell you something for sure. I really dislike the first chair. I like to be close to a wall. I want to be in the back. I don't really like to be in the middle or anything like that. I like a wall beside me. That's just me. That's just my preference, anything like that. So, anyways, um, get a client, comes in, and he's got all this long, straight hair, long, straight, and very thick hair. And gets in the chair, how most clients do. This is early on, like I said, in my time, and he gets in the chair, and I believe his mother, his sister, and his girlfriend were all in the shop with him. All of them were there. And at the time, I wasn't really good with the scissors. I didn't necessarily really understand all of the styles or the basis of the styles, however you want to put it. He gets in a chair, and I believe his consultation goes something like, I don't really want any, just trim the top up. I want kind of a comb over, no hard part, and fade it up to size. Pretty sure that's how the consultation went. Now, what I've learned now, and I'll tell you this, if I don't understand the consultation, I'll point to the pictures on the wall that we have, or I will ask, do you have a picture? Do you have an idea or anything like that? Now, if a client is not willing to give me a picture, they give me a somewhat terrible, little off the top, but not too much, and this, that. I'm going to be honest with you, you're going to get the best of my ability for what I imagine it to be. Just going to be honest with you. If you can't give me a picture, if I can't point at a picture and you tell me this is kind of what you're looking for, I'm going to take bits and pieces of it and I'm going to map out something in my head. as long as I've been behind a chair now, I generally kind of understand and know. I will also, stop within the service and ask more questions about it. But at that time, oh boy, I didn't have those foundational skills. These are things that I learned over time, which is one of the reasons that I'm starting, that we started the school is, you know, a lot of people who go through apprenticeships, they learn based on what the barber who is teaching them learned. So if the barber who is teaching them hasn't been able to well verse himself within the in the barbering world, hasn't studied different techniques and different styles, and if he hasn't done that, if the only thing he knows how to cut is curly, kinky, wavy hair, and he may be really, really good at it, but he can't cut straight hair, he can't use the scissors or the shears or whatever you want to call it. If you're learning from him, if you don't take it upon yourself to learn other things, this is what you're just going to learn as much as they learn, as much as they've learned. So anyways, back to this client. Gets in the chair, gives me a real kind of all over the place consultation. We talk. I try to ask as many questions as I can. Still didn't necessarily really understand it. Also understood that my skill set didn't boast well to what he was asking for. But I gave it a good try. And I tell you what's super funny. So like I said, he wanted a comb over and he had about maybe 4 to 6 inches of hair on top. Like I said, he wanted a light trim, not much off the top, just enough to blend, to make it blend in with the sides. And I don't think I will forget this haircut for as long as I live. I faded up the side opposite of the comb over. So the part where all the bulk was combed over, faded it up, nice fade, everything like that. I did not understand how to connect the top to the sides. I didn't understand how to connect the top to the sides. Still learning. I'm talking maybe like 2 months, 3 months max into my apprenticeship. Did not understand how to connect the top to the sides. So I faded up one side, and I'm pretty sure I faded all the way up. I went to the parietal ridge with the 2, faded everything up underneath of it. On the other side, because I didn't understand how to connect it, and I was concerned about taking the trim, making the trim right. And I also had got a little cocky because the client said to me, he said, yeah, my mom usually cuts my hair, but I got something important going on. I think that's what it was. I think he had something important going on, and he wanted to get a really, really nice haircut. Now, me being me and me being like most barbers, I'm saying, I'm guaranteed to do better than your mom does at cutting your hair. And do I believe that I did? Yes. But I also gave him 2 different haircuts. I think I ran a 2 up the short side, and I ran a 4 on the longer side. And so basically he looked like Two-Face. He had a nice, clean, short-looking fade on one side, and he just had a Gumby on the other side. And when I tell you, I broke out into a sweat. I was fighting, trying to figure it out. It was horrendous. I gave it the best try that I could, but that's one of those that I wish I could get back. And I'm telling you this because what I'm saying to you guys is that I made it a goal, and if you listened to me before, the 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 wavy curly hair clients, they weren't my bread and butter at the time. They weren't giving me a chance. It was the straight hair clients that were giving me a chance. It was the straight hair clients that were like, oh yeah, just, do what you do and da 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 and so on. They were the ones that were doing it. So I said, well, I guess I better get good at this. Either way, man, I gave him a lopsided haircut. It was terrible. Lines were clean because I don't think I balded them out. I think I maybe gave him like a 1 at the bottom, something like that. Lines were clean, squared them up, everything like that. It was just an extremely uneven haircut. And that was because I didn't understand how to set the haircut up. Also didn't really understand my system. And I think I just posted on TikTok today. One of the early things that one of the other barbers said to me in the shop was, he said, what system do you use? I couldn't tell him a system. Just said, I know how to get a result. And he said, well, you're going to have to learn a system and stick to that system. And I tell you this, it's just like a chef versus a person who cooks at home. When you think about ramen noodles, anybody can cook ramen noodles, right? We all can boil some water, put the sauce pack in, and, boil it, cook it for 3 minutes on the boil and take it out and we can cook. But I promise you, there's a difference in between the ramen noodles that a chef is going to cook, and there's a difference between what an average home cook is going to do. And the chef understands, and we have a saying in the shop, we cooking with the same recipe on everything, right? A burst fade, a taper fade, a mohawk, a ball fade, a mid fade, a number 1 fade, a 2 fade. It's all the same process. I use the same process for all of it. Same system. Does not change. Now, if I start with a 2 at the bottom, then I just work my way up to whatever I need. If I start with a ball line at the bottom, I work my way up. I go ball line, clipper open, 1 guard or half guard, 1 guard, 1.5, 2, work my way up to wherever the bulk is going to be. I work my way up. It's the same exact system. And I'm telling you guys, if you're listening to this and you're trying to figure out what's going on, why aren't my haircuts coming out right, things like that, I promise you that it really has to do with your system. It has to do with the fact that you're just hacking at your client's hair. You're hacking at it. You have no system. You're just jumping into it, trying to figure it out. And let's be honest, a lot of us do that in the beginning when we're learning. We do. But a client is looking for consistency. And even if the consistency is growth, they're looking for consistency. I've got clients I've had for years, and I promise you the haircuts I gave them, 3, 4, 5 years ago is not the same haircut that I give them today. It's not. I've only improved on the haircuts. I'm not still leaving chili bowls on their head. I'm not still. I have improved my system, and it only gets better. But because I know a system, I'm not guessing. I'm not looking around. I'm saying, oh, I need to do this at this point, and this at that point, and this at this. I need to do these things. I know right where it goes. I know right how to jump in, right how to fix it, right how to do those things. And you have to understand your system. You have to understand the clippers that you have. You have to understand the blades. If you're using detachable blades, you have to understand the guards and how the guards work together. You have to understand all of those things, right? One of the things I'll tell you is stop chasing the hype. Every new clipper that comes out is not going to help you to cut better if you don't have a system, right? Go back and look at, they're not doing it anymore. Go back and look at some of the old barber influencers when they do the Walmart haircut challenge. They go get clippers from Walmart. You know why they're able to make these still nice, well blended haircuts with these Walmart clippers? They have a system. They followed the system, right? Get a system, learn the system, get one pair of clippers. If you feel like you need multiple clippers, get two of the same clipper. You got magic clips. You really like magic clips. They're working well for you. Get another magic clip. Don't go get a JRL. Don't go get the Babyliss clippers. Don't go get, a Caliber. I'm not saying that they're not good clippers, but if you're working with a magic clip, work with the magic clip. Figure out how to do everything you can with that one clipper. And if you feel like you've maxed it out, if you feel like you're slowing down, if you feel like it's not working, that clipper is no longer working for you, then you move on. But at least you understand the clipper. You understand how the clipper is supposed to work. You understand how to get a blurry fade with one clipper. You got to take the time to understand it. There is no rushing in this game. This game comes through repetition. Repetition and constant improvement. 1% better every single day. Hey, if I'm working on tapers and I want to get good at tapers, it might take me a month to really figure out how to put a taper together. Okay, once I figured out a taper, I pick the next thing. Oh, maybe my lineups aren't crispy. Let's now figure out how to do lineups. It might take me a month to figure out how to really get nice crispy lineups. Okay, now I figured that out. And you got to build a foundation and then build on top of it. Improve the skills as you go along. Right? Improve the skills as you go along. And if you are a barber student in a barber school, please, I'm telling you, do not blame the instructor for your lack of skill when you get out of school. It is 2023. There are multiple barbershops probably in your area. If you got a barber school, you probably have multiple barbershops in your area or people that are cutting hair. Find a mentor outside of the school. If you can't find a mentor that'll talk to you in person, there's got to be a million different barber tutorials. Find one that you like. If you're not getting it with this person over here, go find another person. Go find another video. The answers are out there. But you can't just hold somebody accountable. At the end of the day, right, the school is supposed to teach you the basics in order for you to become licensed. Your license is only the beginning of your professional journey. The license in school is the beginning of it. You're not gonna be the best barber coming out of school. Even if you're the best barber in the school, you might get into a shop and realize what everything that you don't know. So you get into an environment, you don't feel like you're learning, you're not picking stuff up. That's got a lot to do with you personally. You got a textbook, you got you got Instagram, you got TikTok, you got YouTube, you got all of these places that you can learn from. I understand that you paying to go to school, but if you're not, your education is your responsibility. Your growth is your responsibility. As a teacher, we're here to coach you along the journey. But you got to learn the right questions to ask. You have to ask questions. Right? If you're a student, you're just starting out, I would suggest, honestly, hey, and I didn't do this, and I'm telling you, I didn't do this, and this is one thing I regret, because I would get so nervous about what I was doing. The one thing that I regret, I should have taken pictures of every haircut that I did from the beginning. And I didn't. I took pictures of haircuts that I felt like were good, or my return clients that I really, that I was comfortable with. I didn't just take pictures of every single haircut. Listen, if you're an athlete, you know, as an athlete, you have to watch game film. If you can't manage to record a video of the haircut, you can at least take a picture. You can take a picture. Once you take the picture, then you can study the picture and figure out, oh, I didn't like this here. What could I have done there? What could I have done here? Listen, very rarely, or I've never had someone come to me and say they're not going to pay me for a service. I've never had that happen, right? Have I given away free haircuts? Yes. But I have never had anybody sit in my chair as an apprentice or a licensed barber and tell me that they were not going to pay me. So I'm saying that to say this. If you've got people that are giving you money for you to cut their hair, this is what you say that you want to do for the rest of your life. This is the career path that you want to go down, and all of those things. You should make the effort to improve your skill to give the best haircuts that you can possibly give out. I'm telling you straight up and down, every person that sits in my chair, I act like they are always going to a special event, because I want them to return. I'm going to give them the best service I can possibly give them, because I want them to come back. That's just the bottom line. I want them to come back. And you want return customers. Return customers means guaranteed income. That's what that means. And if they're sitting in your chair early, while you're growing, they're giving you an opportunity. Be true to what you say you want to do, and give them the best skills that you have. If you don't have the best skills, if your skills don't measure up to someone else, that's okay. study, ask questions, you know, find a shop, find a place where someone is willing to answer your questions. Find a place where someone is willing to answer your questions. A lot of barbers act like what they do is a secret, and I'm not going to give you the sauce, because if I give you the sauce, then you're going to steal all my clients, and da 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 da, so on and so forth. Like, they act like this is just a super secret society. It's not. It's really not. I tell people in a heartbeat, like, I live in a small town. And I think there's maybe in the county, I think there's maybe 20 to 30,000 males in the county. If I stood behind the chair 24 hours a day, every day for a year, I might be able to cut everybody. Maybe. But I'm not doing that. There is enough clientele out there for barbers. There's enough clientele out there. So I'm not afraid to share what I learned. One of my good barber friends, Tyrone, said to me one time, I said, man, like, you're not afraid to share the information. And he put it slightly, and not in a cocky way. He said, I share the information with you. You now have to go and apply it. I've already applied this information. I have years behind me with this information. You got a couple minutes or an hour. And what I took away from that is like, he wasn't afraid, and he doesn't look at me as competition. We as barbers, we get so tied up into, like, you know, I'm giving the best this, the best that, this, that, and the third. And a lot of people will really get sidetracked and say, you know, they can't take constructive criticism. So if a client comes and says they don't like what they did, they're like, oh, they just being picky. No, they're not being picky. And even if they are being picky, you probably did something wrong. You probably didn't do it right. Take that criticism, and now you have something to study for. Now you have something to work on. Now you have something to fix in that. Right? People's criticism isn't a bad. They have a right to their opinion. They're paying you money for you to provide a service. If they're not happy with it, if you don't know how to fix it, if you don't know how to do those things, you should probably learn how to do it. It's not rocket science. Just learn how to do it. Right? We running a little long today. I'm gonna give you one more story about that. One more story from behind the chair. So again, early on in the career, right? Got a guy in the chair. It was a guy I looked up to, playing football. He was a little older than me and everything like that. Great athlete, freak of nature when it came with his athleticism. You know, well-rounded, track, football, basketball, well-rounded athlete. You know, just a monster. So I looked up to him, and I was honored that that he sat in my chair. Right, a little starstruck that he sat in my chair. He gets a bald head, and he wants his beard shaped up, trimmed up, and everything like that. You know, nice crisp line on the beard. Now, bald head is just what it is. It's a bald head, right? And a lot of people, especially if you're using a box shaver, a lot of people think that a bald head is just super simple. It's actually, in my opinion, sometimes more tedious than a bald fade because you got to get every piece of freaking hair. That's not neither here nor there. As far as this story is concerned, but a bald head is a bald head, right? It can be tedious. So I do the bald head. I go to trim up his beard, and he wants a razor line on the beard. He wants a nice crisp, that beard C, everything like that. He wants it full, but he doesn't want it low. He he has a nice big Philly beard. For the barbers, you understand. That big full beard. He has a big full beard, and again, this was one of my weaknesses at the time. I didn't know. I wasn't really good with the razor. I was learning. I wasn't great with it. I was super afraid to cut somebody. And also on top of that, I didn't really understand how to do a nice beard line. And again, I break out in one of them sweats, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to mess this up. This is a lot of growth. I'm sweating trying to figure it out. So I lined it up, and I get done, and I show him the mirror, and he was like, "Yeah, make this line a little crispier." I have no clue at what I'm doing, and as far as how to make this line crispier without pushing his beard down and all, I have no idea. So pull everything back out. I go at it again. Show him the mirror. Make this line crispier. I want the joint to pop. Make it crispy. Still wasn't it. So I pull my, I give it one more try. Third try, I get done with it. He's like, all right, man, just forget it. He's like, this ain't what I'm looking for or anything like that. Hurt my heart. And I think it might have been towards the end of the day at the time. But I tell you that for the next week and a half, all I did was study beard line tutorials and figure out how to do it. It was and here's the deal. At the time, this was a deficit that I didn't even know I had. I knew I hadn't really worked with beards before. I was cutting hair in the military school and in the military, and that the family that I did have that had beards, they cut their own beards, so I never really had to deal with it. So I had to figure it out. Now I could have been like, "Yo, he was being super picky." I was giving him, I was giving him everything I had. I could have done that. I could have wallowed in the misery, but I didn't have a foundation to understand even how to do it. So I had to go get a foundation. I had to go get an understanding of what it takes to line up a beard. How do you keep a full beard and a crisp line? I had to learn those things. And so I asked the other barbers. I looked at YouTube videos, and I figured it out. And I will say, I think I do a pretty good beard now. But it took time for me to figure it out. It took a lot of time, right? And if you're not willing to, again, I'm going to say this. For anybody that's interested, you're listening to this and you're thinking about becoming a barber and everything like that. If you're not willing to go through the journey, this is not the career for you. I promise you. It's just not. Right? You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have a lot of different stuff happen behind that chair. And if the only thing you're concerned about is what somebody else thinks about you, this is not going to be it for you. Right? The guy I apprenticed under, he said one thing to me when I would go to him and talk to him and be like, yo, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. I don't know what I did wrong here. I don't know what I did wrong here. I don't know what I did wrong here. Jason would look at me and in the calmest tone ever, he would say, did you get paid? I said, yeah. He said, I'm not saying that that's all that matters, but you got paid. The fact that you care about this even after you got paid shows me that you're going to grow. He said, keep growing, keep learning, keep figuring it out. And we would sit down and have lots of conversations just like that. And every so often he'd say, hey man, did you when I'm going off on a rant, I'm going off on a tangent, he said, did you get paid? And I said, yeah. And being that I do this to provide for my family, like I understood, yes, I got paid, but I wasn't happy with the results. And he said, people are coming in here from places where they don't even know what a good haircut looks like. And you're giving them a haircut that's better than what they're usually used to getting. You also have good customer service. You also have good conversation. You're getting a service. You're providing a service, and they are coming back. They're returning. They're doing all those things. He said, keep studying, keep working, keep figuring it out. You're going to run into it. He says there's going to be epiphanies. He says you're going to think about something one day and you're going to wake up and you're going to get it. And then as soon as you get that, you're going to realize something else that you don't know. And then I realize that there's something I don't know and I'm still learning about every day. Every day I'm learning about something new as far as this industry is concerned. And I won't stop learning. I won't stop learning. So, anyways, guys, this is a nice long podcast for you today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is Devon with the Band of Barbers podcast. Listen, share this with your friends. Like, comment, subscribe. Do all those things. Again, we're just figuring it out. This is episode 8. Right, it's episode 8. We're just figuring out. We're growing. We're trying to get some things together. We're working on some different things. Just trying some stuff. If you want to hear more stories from the behind the chair, please comment and let me know. I got a lot of stories, and I hope to be able to share them throughout this podcast. I got a lot, and it'll be a long time before I tell a repetitive story. There's a lot that's happened behind the chair over the years. But again, thank you again. It's 11:47. I'm going to get this thing posted. I'm on day 8, still going strong. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you again tomorrow.